Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you all to the wonderful world of mathematics, Mathcon universe. Today, our goal will be what we call strategic problem solving in what? Quadratic equations. We're going to use strategic problem solving to break down quadratic equations. Now, how do you recognize a quadratic equation? Usually when you see an equation of the form ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, then you know you have what? A quadratic equation. So we can solve quadratic equation using different methods. In this series, we have talked about solving quadratic equation using factoring method. So our next goal is to solve a quadratic equation by what? Using quadratic formula. So we're going to solve quadratic equation using what we call what? Quadratic formula. How does quadratic formula work? Let us see. If you want to use quadratic formula to solve this quadratic equation, you have to recognize a few things. Number one, you need to recognize that the A, the B's, and C's are going to be your keys for developing the quadratic formula. So that means we're going to have something of this form. X equals what? Negative what? B plus or minus the square root of what? B squared minus 4AC all over what? 2A. So this is known as what? Quadratic formula. Quadratic formula. So given a problem of this form, in this quadratic equation form, what we need to do is to identify the A's, the B's, and the C's, and then develop the formula in this form. And then this will give us the solution to the quadratic equation. So equation of this form, again, is known as quadratic equation, and you can use quadratic formula to solve it. So let us apply this principle in solving this problem that fits the model of quadratic equation. And what's the problem again? This is the problem: x squared plus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. So what we need to do in solving this problem, therefore, is to identify our A's, our B, and our C. Again, identify our A in this problem, our B in the problem, and the C, and then apply the quadratic formula. And that will lead us to the solution. So what is our A in this problem? What will be the A in this problem? Yes, sir. 1. Thank you, sir. What's your name again, sir? I can hear you, sir.
Joe.
Joe, okay. Mr. Joe, thank you very much. A is 1 indeed. So A is 1 in this problem. What's our B in this problem?
5.
Our B is 5. Whose voice is this? What's your name? Christy of Houston, Texas. Thank you very much for your contribution. So, and then what will be the C for this problem?
6.
C Okay? So once you identify your A, B, and C in the problem, you can then apply the quadratic formula. So this is our first step. The first step is to identify your A's, B, and C. First step in solving these problems. Identify your A, B, and C. And then the second step in the strategy is to what? Make what? A substitution in the formula. So wherever we see B in this formula, what would be B in this formula? Or no, B.
No, 5.
B will be 5, right? B will be 5. The formula has a negative in it. So the B itself is going to be 5. So that means we're going to have x equals negative 5 and what? Plus or minus the square root of what?
5 to the second.
The square root of 5 to the second. Mr. Joe, thank you very much. 5 to the second of 5 squared minus 4, times what?
Times 1.
Times 1, because our A is 1. Very good, Mr. Joe.
Times 6.
Times 6. Very good. All over what? 2 times what?
1.
2 times 1. Very good. All over 2 times 1. Two times 1. Very good. All over 2 times 1. Notice, the next thing we have to do will be what? Break it down further. So that again will still be negative 5 plus or minus. Now this time we have what? The square root of what? 25. 5 squared is what? 25. You're right. Very good. 5 squared is 25.
Minus 24.
Minus 24. Very good, Mr. Joe of Houston, Texas. All over what?
2.
All over 2. Because 2 times 1 is 2. Very good. Very good. So what will be our next step in this strategy again? We'll continue breaking down the problem. So that means now that our x is going to be what? Again, negative 5 plus or minus what? What? What's 25 minus 24?
1.
1. So now we have going to have square root of 1. Everything will be all over what?
2.
All over 2. Thank you. So therefore that means that x now equals negative 5 plus or minus. What is the square root of 1? What is the square root of 1? Anybody can give me this answer here? 1. Thank you, Ms. Christie of Houston, Texas. Thank you very much. It is going to be 1. Square root of 1 is 1. So we're going to write that 1. Divide everything by 2. Divide everything by 2. So that means that we're going to have what? X equals negative 5 plus 1 all over 2, or x equals -5 minus 1 over 2. All right, so what is -5 plus 1?
-4.
-4. What is -4 over 2?
2.
-4 over 2 is -2. Very good, -2. Now, so we need to write down the -2.
-2 or -3.
Oh, you're right, Mr. Joel, indeed. So what is -5 minus 1? -6. What is -6 over 2?
3.
-3. So indeed, x is going to be what? -2, or x is going to be -3. So this is the solution part that you take when you solve a problem using quadratic formula. Using quadratic formula. Notice the first thing to do is to identify your A, B, and C in the problem. And then the second thing you must do in this problem solving strategy is to use the quadratic what? Formula. By making the appropriate substitution in the formula. And then the next key thing you have to do then is to what? To simplify the expressions on the right side of the formula. If you do this step by step and carefully, you should be able to obtain the right solution. Keep on practicing this type of problems and keep on connecting to Mathcon Universe, and I guarantee you, you will be in a better position to build a strong knowledge base in mathematics and also develop what we call problem solving confidence. Until next time, keep on keeping on. Bye-bye.